10 minutes of English listening before sleeping. Computing is now at the same stage as printing was when the first printing presses were used. Before printing presses were invented, only rich people like kings and dukes could afford to buy books. Often these people were unable to read and hadn't enough time to learn. In any case, the books were so big that it was difficult for anyone to relax with a book as we do today. They wanted books because they were expensive and there was something magical about them. Only a few people were able to write, and it took an extremely long time to write a book. Monks and other people who could write said ordinary people could not learn to read. The position with computers is very similar today. A few years ago, computers were very large and expensive. Business managers and rich people ordered them, but they didn't know how to use them. In many countries, however, the situation has now completely changed. Lots of people not only own microcomputers, but also know how to use them. Strange things happen to time when you travel, because the Earth is divided into 24 time zones, 1 hour apart. You can have days with more or fewer than 24 hours, and weeks with more or fewer than 7 days. If you make a 5-day trip across the Atlantic Ocean, your trip enters a different time zone every day. As you enter each zone, the time changes 1 hour. Traveling west, you set your clock back. Traveling east, you set it ahead. Each day of your trip has either 25 or 23 hours. If you travel by ship across the Pacific Ocean, you cross the international dateline by agreement. This is the point where a new day begins. When you cross the line, you change your calendar 1 full day, backward or forward. Traveling east, today becomes yesterday. Traveling west, it is tomorrow. Smoke and waste chemicals are polluting the air and our environment. We are wasting too much power. Smokes from cars, buses, trucks, and motorbikes are very harmful. We are producing too much trash. This is polluting the land, the rivers, and the oceans too. What should we do to protect our environment? We should save water and electricity. We shouldn't leave our trash in the country. We should collect used paper, bottles, and cans. We can recycle them to save the natural resources. The Burglar's Friend. It was 3 o'clock in the morning when 4-year-old Russell Brown woke up to go to the toilet. His parents were fast asleep in bed, but when he heard a noise in the living room and saw lights was on, he went downstairs. There he found two men. They asked him his name and told him they were friends of family. Unfortunately, Russell believed them. They asked him where the video recorder was. Russell showed them and said they had a stereo and CD player too. The two men carried this to the kitchen. Russell also told them that his mother kept her purse in a drawer in the kitchen. So they took that. Russell even gave them his pocket money, 50 pence. They finally left at 4 a.m. They said, "Will you open the back door while we take these things to the car? Because we don't want to wake Mommy and Daddy, do we?" So Russell held the door open for them. He then went back to bed. His parents didn't know about the burglary until they got up the next day. His father said, "I couldn't be angry with Russell because he thought he was doing the right thing." Fortunately, the police caught the two burglars last week. We can communicate with other people in many different ways. We can talk and write, and we can send messages with our hands and faces. There is also the phone, including the mobile for chatting and text messaging, the fax and television, film, painting, and photography can also communicate ideas. Animals have ways of exchanging information too. Bees dance and tell other bees where to find food. Elephants make sounds that humans can't hear. Whales sing songs. Monkeys use their faces to show anger and love. But it is nothing compared to what people can do. We have language, about 6,000 languages in fact. We can write poetry, tell jokes, make promises, explain, persuade, tell the truth, or tell lies. And we have a sense of past and future, not just present. Radio, film, and television have had a huge influence on society in the last 100 years. And now we have the internet, which is infinite, but it is doing to us. We can give and get a lot of information very quickly, but there is so much information that it is difficult to know what is important and what isn't. Modern media is changing our world every minute of every day. Thank you and sleep well.